Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I hope you're well. Today is the 31st of December, 2022. We're right on the cusp of the new year. By the time you watch this, it may very well be 2023, or you may be watching it on New Year's Eve, if the internet behaves itself and I can get it up in time. But whenever you watch it, what we're going to be doing in this video is looking at the overarching energies for the year ahead. I'm going to be diving into some of the particular hotspots that I feel as though we're going to be navigating through in 2023. Give you some practical tools and techniques to help, and really just try and help you understand the energy. I'm going to be alluding to colour numerology in this. I'm also going to be linking into particular chakras that I feel are going to be particularly prominent. And by that, I mean that we're all going to have to be expanding and evolving them in particular. And I'll come back to that. I'll be talking about a particular crystal that I think is going to be very useful for you next year. And let's just get into it, shall we? So the first thing to say, I think, before we do anything is let's just energetically help to close out the year that we've just gone through, and welcome in the new, because the new has to have space to allow growth. So if you're hanging on to old arguments, old judgments, old fights, old beliefs linked into what has been happening this year, they're not necessarily going to serve you as you go into the new year. Ideally, we need a fresh new sheet, even if on the stroke of midnight, you wake up the following day and actually your circumstances are the same, the people around you are the same, you still have maybe the same problems, the same issues, the same opportunities. That's going to be true for all of us. But what does change on the stroke of midnight, or can change, is your attitude and your mindset, and allowing in a fresh new energetic stream that is going to serve you this year. And I'm actually being told it wasn't available last year. And remember, I'm actually straddling the 2 years here. I'm still in 2022, but I'm moving us into the energy of 2023. But Metatron says it's very important to tie up loose ends. Now, it doesn't mean that this all has to be done in the next couple of hours or in the next day. I feel as though the first part of January in particular, we have some space to tidy up those loose ends. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about getting our house in order, our mental house, our physical house, as well as our dwelling place that we live in, that we work in, etc. So it is as simple as having a good spring clean, having a good tidy up, getting rid of things that might have served you very well in the last year, the last decade, but for whatever reason now don't. Allow them to go. There's definitely an energy of flow that's needed through 2023. So just let go of what you no longer need, whether that be possessions, whether it be attitudes, whether it be former beliefs, judgments, criticisms, as I've said. Definitely I'm feeling the energy of not bringing a fight or an argument into the next year. We really do need the fresh, clean sheet in 2023, because I'm hearing Archangel Metatron say 2023 is going to be a year like no other. Now, that might be something going forward that we can maybe say every year, certainly for the next couple of years, but I'm definitely feeling as though a year like no other starts from now. And you might say to me, my God, what about 2019? What about 2020? What about 2021? They've all been difficult. Because it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be difficult, because I feel as though we're going to be given the tools and the stepping stones to navigate through the challenges of next year. And also with greater challenges come greater opportunities and greater gifts as well. But you're going to have to do a real dance between the ego and the heart, between our intuition and our rational mind that is going to take us into different places through 2023. It's quite a masterclass year. So let's just do a little prayer before we go on, and let's just ask our guides to be with us. Those of you that watch me know my main guides are Archangel Metatron and Jesus. So we're going to bring those two in particular. Just welcoming the energy firstly of Archangel Metatron, who's coming in today in this great big rainbow orb energy. I'm hearing like a wrecking ball, but I mean, some people say that's of Metatron, but of course he doesn't wreck things for the sake of wrecking them. He's actually bringing this huge, great big rainbow orb ball energetic thing through the year, which is going to be clearing the path for us. But there's going to be a lot of dismantling of the old in 2023. I'm being shown that. But equally, it's being done with love. It's being done for the best interests of humanity as a whole. And anything that falls away in your life next year is meant to fall away. That includes people leaving your life. These are hard truths to deliver, but it is the truth that I'm hearing. As well as old identities, old habits, etc. So firstly, we have the energy of Archangel Metatron coming in like this beautiful rainbow wrecking ball. And then we have the energy of Jesus, and I've got the energy of Jesus coming in here with, he's showing me a dustpan and brush, okay? It's almost like the dustpan and brush, the energy that comes in behind whatever has been shattered, dismantled because it needed to. It's like the energy of tidying up, clearing up, sweeping the path in a different way. Okay, rather unusual ways from both of them to come in, but that's what I'm seeing today. So anyway, with the energies of Jesus and Metatron here, we ask them to help us tie up the loose ends from last year, to give thanks to the lessons that we received through 2022, to give thanks for the relationships in our life through 2022, including the people who triggered us, the people who maybe betrayed us, the people who we found difficult. There is always learning in that as well. Thank you. We also thank you for the opportunities and the gifts and the growth that occurred through 2022. We ask for the tidying up of loose ends and for you to help us get our house in order, ready for the new year. Thank you. We welcome in the energy of 2023 with an open heart, with an open mind, with feet ready to take action, with hands ready to create, and with eyes able to see past illusion, smoke and mirrors to the truth. Amen. Okay. Right, guys, let's get to it then. 2023. Let's start with a bit of colour numerology because I think it's a good introduction. If you add up 2023, as I'm sure many of you have done, 2 and 2 and 3 makes 7. 7 links into the colour turquoise, a very beautiful, deep, dark turquoise. Actually, I truly had not planned this, quite like the top I'm wearing, although maybe this is a bit more teal in nature, but we're delving into those sort of colours next year. Teal, turquoise, the blues, that type of part of the energetic colour spectrum. Turquoise as a colour is very much tied into the new age. Not the new age, I'm talking about the new Aquarian age, okay? It's tied into the Aquarian age that is coming. New thoughts, new technologies, new ideas, new ways of doing things, and it's going to be happening fast. I'm just seeing wave upon wave of new things coming into our planet. Some I'm being shown humanity takes up, picks it up a bit like a toy, has a play with, gets rid of it because it doesn't work. What was that thing? I'm going back to like the 1990s now. Clive Sinclair, I think he was called. He was a British scientist, and he created something which was like a was it a car or something? An electric, it wasn't an electric car, it was almost like a toy car. I'm being shown the Sinclair car that was created, that there was a great big fuss over, and people were like, oh, look at this, is this the future? And then after, I don't know, however many months or a year, it was like, no, nobody wants that, out with that. And then I'm sure he created something else. So it's a great year if you are an inventor. It's a great year if you have an entrepreneurial spirit. If you are a creator, this is a great year for you. But you mustn't get too stuck and too rigid in it has to just be one thing or one way. You know the program Dragon's Den? I don't know if it's sold around the world, but Dragon's Den effectively is where an entrepreneur steps into the Dragon's Den. The dragons are 5 experts in the business field who hear the idea, and they either invest in it or they bin it, and the person goes out. The point is that the people that have done really well in that program over the years are people that don't necessarily just come in with one idea. They have maybe a number of different things that they can offer. And indeed, if one thing doesn't work, they then work on something else. I'm being shown it's a year for having your fingers in multiple pies, but not to the point of burnout, just to the point of, I'm being shown now a cook who's got, 4 rings on the stove, and there's something bubbling on each ring, and when something needs extra seasoning or when something is ready to taste and be delivered to the table of guests, and other things need a longer cooking time. So it's definitely not a time to just be fixated on one thing and one thing only, because I'm being shown a bit like a tree that is completely unable to move. It will break, okay? We have to be flexible through 2023. The energy of turquoise, invention, creativity, and I really want you to tap into that, okay? So whether you're being pulled to write, whether you're being pulled to draw, whether you're being pulled to new business pursuits, whether you're being drawn to different types of hobbies, things that stretch the boundaries, things that you've always wanted to do, places you've always wanted to go, this is the year that's going to help you with that. What else with regard to turquoise? Turquoise is all about feelings. Feelings. Who did that? The feelings. It's all about feelings in all seriousness. And if we look at the colour change from last year to this year, 2023, it's all turquoise, it's all the blues. Last year was a 6 energy. 6 is linked into pink, okay? So pink is about, it's about many things, but it's about the energy of love. It can also be about where the wound is. So it feels as though last year revealed to us maybe what hurt or is hurting, what is still unhealed, what is raw. I'm just feeling what is raw. And this year that we're now gifted is about getting in touch with that at a much deeper level, to heal it, to move on from it, to learn from it. So rather than just trying to cover up the wound or the illness or the condition or the addiction or whatever it is, and bury it or numb it or ignore it, this is a year for diving into it, flowing through it, learning from it, and rising like the phoenix at the other end of it, okay? Also, in terms of planetary energies, we move from 6, which was 2022, which was the energy of Venus. And it's interesting because, Venus is the planet of love, relationships. But what I'm hearing in my mind's eye is me, 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 me. It feels as though 2022 was a year of me, 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 me. A lot of ego out there. A lot of narcissistic energy as well in the collective. And a lot of that being in our face as well, the energy of me, 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 me. Whereas the turquoise energy of 2023, which has the planet Neptune, is deeper. It's a deeper year. That's what I'm feeling. It just feels a deeper year. It feels as though it's also a year to tap into the subconscious as well, and your clairvoyant abilities and your intuitive abilities. 2023 is a year where that can explode, but it has to explode in a grounded way, okay? You're going to see a lot of people start to come onto the spiritual stage, as it were, on social media platforms who, I hate to say it, are probably quite ungrounded, who there might be very fast awakenings happening. And it's the energy of suddenly I can see this, I'm going to report on this, I'm going to have the vision, I'm going to tell you all about it. But unless it's grounded in deeper wisdom, it can actually be quite dangerous. And I'll give you maybe a current example of that. Not dissing anybody, but it's just learning for all of us. Yesterday, they arrested somebody in the Idaho murder case, didn't they? I'll do another update video on that because I have got something to say on that. But anyway, let's just say that there is a name now out there, okay? Brian Koberger, I think the guy's called. But up to that point, there were a lot of channels that were naming people, okay? They were getting the visions, they were seeing things, they were maybe reading the cards, and then they were naming individuals or allowing people in comments to name individuals. Really dangerous, libelous, and also an example of ungrounded spirituality, because you have to have the as above, so below. If you are gifted spiritual sight and you are gifted prophecy or gifted visions, it comes with responsibility. And the responsibility is the roots of the tree. So you're going to see maybe more psychics out there, channelers, people that are coming through, maybe names we've never heard of before that aren't even on the radar. But there's going to be some really ungrounded stuff. In many ways, this is good though. And I say that because it's an opportunity for you to learn greater discernment skills, okay? So rather than saying like, oh my God, have you heard what this person's saying, what that person's saying? Really dive into it. Does it resonate? Does it make sense? Does it feel ethical? Okay. Does it have a moral compass? Is it speaking the language of love? Okay. Is the energy of love flowing through that? So, got a bit sidetracked there, but that's really tied into many people having the third eye developing, and the throat chakra developing, and also the crown chakra developing. I'm particularly linking into the 7th chakra here because it's a 7-year next year. 2023 is a 7-year. Neptune, god of the sea, linked into the subconscious, diving deep into ourself, but equally diving deep into our spiritual gifts. Let's come back to the 7th chakra. In the traditional 7 chakra system, it is, of course, the crown chakra. So we're going to have the crown opening up more. I will show you the crown chakra colour that we have within the Metatron set, which is an interesting one. It's maybe not the colour that some people expect it to be, but it's been this colour ever since I started the system, I think. It's silver. It's silver because it helps to purify. Silver is a natural antibacterial agent. So if you think about, put it this way, if suddenly you know somebody, or maybe it's you, that is completely waking up to spirituality, to awakening to truths in our universe, etc., we know that we have to protect ourselves. We know that we have to be sure that we're aligned to the right light, the true light, okay? There are energies which can masquerade as light. So you need a guide with you. And this is good for all of us, even if we've been on the path a long time. Again, ensure that your connection is secure, okay? And for me, that has always been about working with what I call the big two, but that doesn't mean they're the only big two. I'm talking about Metatron and Christ here. You might have another two that are just as big and great for you. It's not a competition in terms of who's the best ascended master out there. They're all brilliant. Whoever your big two are, Okay, call them in. Whoever you trust is what I'm really trying to say. So this silver energy is about clearing the crown chakra. Let's just do this now at the start of a new year. Clearing the crown chakra. So again, you know, I was saying earlier about having a clean sheet upon which to write the year, to write the story of your year coming in. You also need to have a clean up of the crown chakra, because the crown chakra is the place which spirit comes through the body, okay? One of the portals. But because we're in a 7-year, we're going to see more and more activity centering on our crown. So I'm hearing wear your crowns with pride as well. So this is a link to sovereignty. True sovereignty, which starts with the individual being your own king and queen of your world. Spoken about that before. What else is there to say with this crown chakra energy? I'm also being drawn, I'll do another video on this soon, but the whole thing about corona, which links into crown, takes us back to the pandemic energies. I'll maybe pull a couple of cards in this reading in a bit linked into that, because it's one of the subjects I was going to touch on. But anyway, crown chakra, 7th chakra, is going to be opening up more for the collective per se. But as I say, some people are not going to be properly grounded with it, and it's going to be there's going to be more instances of maybe mental instability, delusions, nightmares, that type of thing. So again, ground. In such a watery year that's coming, because 7 is Neptune, which is the sea. So the waters of our world are going to be, I'll just say very visible, which sounds stupid, but you know, like today, the rain is hammering on my windows. In America, you've had those unprecedented snowfalls. When that starts to melt, it's not going to be funny. We're going to have water events, basically, is what I'm trying to say. We're going to have water events through 2023 in different parts of the world. So watch the waters of the world. But equally, no, that's not a QAnon reference, by the way. I'm just saying watch the waters of the world in terms of the elementals. Pay them the respects that they deserve. Remember that the waters of our world are symbolic of what's going on within our own waters. Think about the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. I'm also feeling that as the shadow energy rises through 2023, because it has to, because we're ascending. We can't ascend until we've properly looked at our shadow energies, and we've been doing this for years, and it's going to continue. It has to be all be cleaned out. There's going to be an uprising of anger and frustration, and that can cause waterworks problem within the body. You know, UTIs, things like that, urinary tract infections. I suffered from them for years as a little girl, so I know what I'm talking about here. It's usually as a result of being pissed off, literally pissed off. So there's a big part of the world that's going to be feeling pissed off. But again, rather than, well, what you need to do when you're feeling that, if you're feeling anger arising or frustration, whether it's with yourself, whether it's with somebody else, whether it's with a collective story in the news, a different viewpoint from you that you don't agree with, somebody that pisses you off, it might be me, go into it, okay? Go into it. What is it trying to teach you? What is out of balance that has created that reaction within you? Because the truth is, when we are completely sovereign and we are secure in what we know, we're secure in what we believe, we're accepting of other people's differences of opinions, we're not so triggered by somebody else having a different opinion. But through 2023, we're going to have a growing, the polarity is just going to keep growing and growing. So again, you have to be the point of balance. Well, if you want peace of mind, to be perfectly honest, because the truth is you can easily ping to either extreme and stay in those camps, but you're not really going to be moving closer towards a unity energy doing that. And ultimately, at some point, we have to come back more towards the centre and be at one with each other, because that's the future direction of our planet. So definitely, I've written down here one of the themes through 2023, no surprise to many of you, and we've had this through last year, we're going to have an increasing polarization and demonization of people. And it's because people are trying to escape their own shadows. They're going to do anything to try to escape their own shadows. So, and again, this comes with many more people starting to wake up. Having a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, is what they say, don't they? Because again, remember the analogy of the tree. You have to have the whole system to be well and whole and truly healthy. You have to have the roots. You have to have the growth. You have to have gone through different seasons and cycles. The beautiful oak tree has gone through many winters. It's gone through many springs and summers and autumns. It hasn't just flowered in one particular season and suddenly is picking off all that fruit and gorging on it, you know? So humanity waking up is going to be messy, okay? Those of you that watch me, nature of this channel is probably you've been awake for a while anyway. So we're going to be a witness to a lot of this headless chicken energy out there. People getting a little bit of information, a little bit of knowledge, not knowing what to do with it. Our job is going to be the steady rudder of the ship, basically, the steady mast of the ship, and to not get so rocked. So last year was good training ground for that. You know, many of us were rocked, many of us were triggered. But what can you do to get yourself into a place where you're going to be more stable? Okay, and this is going to require some changes. I'm not going to announce completely what I'm going to be doing next year, but I am going to be making some changes to my social media presence, for example, because I know that I need to be more steady for my own equilibrium and peace of mind. And that is just about being more focused on one particular place. I have to say, you're watching me on YouTube at the moment, and YouTube is going to be the main place that you're going to be reaching me through 2023. I'm going to be doing at least 2 videos a week, and this is going to be the steady port basically here. But I'll talk about that another time. It's just an example of what I'm saying. So anything else to say with all of this Neptunian energy? As I say, this is to do with the colour numerology 7 linked into the planet Neptune. So I've talked about water events. Also the symbolism of what is frozen within us and what needs to melt. It may very well be around your heart, for example. You know, what is your heart? Is your heart frozen in time? Is your heart closed and guarded because of past hurts? Are you frozen in that respect, allowing it, the waters to melt it? Actually, before we go on, I mentioned 7 being linked into the crown chakra, didn't I? But that's within the traditional chakra system. I'd like to also just bring another chakra in at this point, which is that within the Metatron chakra system, we've actually got 12 chakras we particularly focus in on. That starts with the Earth Star chakra beneath our feet and ends with the stellar gateway above our crown, as well as a few others that might be new to you. The Alta Major, for example, at the back of the neck, the higher heart, the soul star, etc. But if you look at the Metatron 12 chakra system, the 7th chakra in that is actually the throat. Okay, so I actually want to bring both of these energies into next year. The crown I've already talked about and why we need that to be clean, and that's a constant maintenance. That literally is a weekly maintenance, because if you think about it, Metatron's given me this analogy. I notice it when I go up to a major city, because I don't live in a major city, but say I go up to London and I go on the tube and I go on the trains and all the rest of it, I'm just walking around, and just the sheer number of people and everything. It sounds a bit gross, but you know, like if you blow your nose or you take off your makeup, it's a lot dirtier than it is if I'm just here in my home. I'm picking up more stuff. So we're going to be exposed to more stuff. Just I just want to say stuff in 2023. There's going to be stuff coming at us all the time, okay? Events, news, things that are happening in your life. Remember what I was saying about the waves are just going to keep rolling in. So we're going to have to constantly keep cleaning. And I'm talking about energetic cleaning here. So silver is going to be a really powerful ally through next year. And of course, although it goes onto the crown, you can actually spray it all around. And the thing about silver is it's also a mirror. It's a mirror. It's a mirror that you look in and you think, okay, what I just deflected and projected onto that person over there, that you're this, that I don't like what you've just said. Now let me just look in the mirror at myself and see, where the hell did that come from? Why have I just done that? Why have I been triggered in that way? Why have I behaved like that, etc.? So it's like we're going to be in a hall of mirrors, and get used to it is what Metatron's saying, because we can't evolve without it. Humanity for far too long has not wanted to look in the mirror. Yes, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, great song, completely in tune with what I'm saying here. We're going to be in a hall of mirrors. We're going to have to look at ourselves. It's like, in a fairground and you see yourself through those mirrors, and some of them are a bit distorted as well. It's like, is that really me? Is my backside really that big? All of that. What is real? What is truth? You're going to have to become the steady mast through next year. But also, as I say, the 7th, I want to also link to this within the Metatron system. The 7th chakra is the throat chakra, aquamarine. Put these two together, it's feeling quite galactic, isn't it? Another subject for another day. I know some people are talking about galactic disclosure through 2023. I'm not sure about that, to be perfectly honest. I'm not expecting to see the big ship in the sky next year. I mean, they're there anyway, hiding behind the clouds. I've said that for years. But I'm talking about humanity really seeing it. I'm not sure whether we're really quite ready for that yet. But we'll see. We'll ask Ashtar sometime. But for now, this is throat chakra stuff. So with heightened intuition, with heightened third eye ability, with heightened energy coming in through the crown, and we're constantly cleaning, so the information coming in is getting purer, it's getting cleaner. What do we then do with it? We're going to start speaking it, but we're going to start speaking it from a very pure place, from a place of non-judgment. Look how clear that colour is. It's just so beautifully clear. So our throat chakras too are going to be getting upgrades through next year. Let me just tune into this. Communication. I'm recording this at the start of Mercury Retrograde. We're going to become much more in sync with the phases of Mercury Retrograde. I know some of you already are, but more people are going to start to tune into that. I mean, even going back to the Idaho arrest, I'm not saying they've got the wrong guy. I think he's part of it, but I don't think he's the only part. I think there are others there that are to come out of that. There's much more to come out of it. But the arrest came just at the start of Mercury Retrograde. My worry is there's something not quite right there. Whether they're going to find it hard to make it stick, or I don't know. There's something I need to read into that. There's something a bit weird with that. Let's put it this way. When I read on Idaho, one of the first thing I said to you was this smacks of Madeleine McCann. And I noticed yesterday in the paper, number one, they arrest Brian for the murder. He's certainly got a case to answer, I think, probably, but I think there's others involved. And there's also a culture involved, everything that I said in that past video. But they arrested Brian, and then in the same day I saw that they're thinking of bringing an arrest forward for Christian, whatever he's called, the guy they've been trying to pin Madeleine's murder on for years. And I thought, oh really? Here we go again. Because no, I don't believe Christian did it at all. Let's not even get back into the Madeleine McCann thing. But it's just this whole thing, it's smoke and mirrors, and it's like, I'll do an update on all of that. So, communication, what is truth? We're going to be diving deep to try and find that. And you're going to be less reliant on being told what is true, and you're going to have to feel for what is true. And that's against a backdrop of the last couple of years where you've been told things about various things. I'm going to keep it vague here, guys. You know what I'm talking about. And then some of us have known, we've seen through it. And it's like more people are now starting to see through it. And it's all of that. It's that whole energy. It doesn't matter how many millions they spend on advertising or towards, whether it's to do with pandemics or wars or anything. Starting to see past all of that. See past all of that. What is the truth? What is my truth? But then also the most important thing, allowing another person to have a completely different truth to you. It might not be their truth. I said it was masterclass, didn't I? Okay, let's get on to some lighter stuff now. Please, Amanda, yes. Because actually, no, I'm quite buoyed up, excuse the pun, by next year. I think it's a year to dive into and get a lot out of. It's just you have to be able to see through a lot of the crap, for want of a better word. So on a positive note, dolphins. Okay, let's bring the dolphins in. All this Neptunian stuff, the sea, dolphins. What are they teaching us? To play, to have a bit more fun, to socialise, to get together. Dolphins are in a pod. But also dolphins and whales, it's all about heart awakening the heart. They also have a part to play through next year. I also see new lands arising. I've said this for a few years, it's not a new prediction, but I am feeling that new lands arising out of the sea. And in terms of guides, we have our trusted guides that will see us through as they do each year. But I'm also tuning in to the god of the sea, which is Neptune, or Poseidon. I didn't realise that Neptune is the Roman god of the sea and Poseidon is the Greek god of the sea. Did you know that? I didn't. Also Moses. Moses, the parting of the seas, the stuff to come with the Moses energy as well. The promised land. What looks unachievable, what looks impassable, what looks unnavigable. The energy of Moses coming in to part the seas, to create a pathway through the year ahead for the collective, but also for you. I'm also feeling this is a unifier energy, the Moses energy, through 2023. It's about bringing two sides together, east to west. Yeah. Right, what else do I want to say? One of you sent me a beautiful larimar necklace. Thank you. And it's so perfect really for what I'm talking about in this video. So larimar is a stone crystal, very watery energy, which feels as though it's going to be very helpful to us through the year ahead. I want to talk about a little bit about the metaphysical properties of larimar. But in the card that you sent me, where is it? In the card that you sent me, well, which I now can't find. Oh yeah, here we are. Thank you. You wrote a line, and I just thought this was beautiful. I'm going to read it to you. You say, I think it was you. Yeah, it says, keep the force. This is something for all of us for the year ahead. Keep the force, especially through the ionic vibrance of the ocean's atmosphere and the green energy of the forest. I love that. Keep the force, especially through the ionic vibrance of the ocean's atmosphere and the green energy of the forest. The greens, the blues. Keep the force that we will find a way. We will find a way as a collective and individually through the next year ahead. But larimar as a crystal to help us. So larimar is known as the stone of truth, peace and tranquility. It's going to be a year where you need to dive into that and find that. Truth, peace and tranquility. Larimar also opens you to new dimensions, and it comforts the soul through periods of transition. It's a transitory year. It gives courage to speak one's truth and follow the heart. Deep connections to the water element. It permeates the earth's energies, bringing powerful healing to the entire globe. Excellent for community peace. Raises consciousness and vibration. Dissolves self-sabotaging behaviour, blockages and illusion. Encourages going with the flow and shows one how to use their talents, stimulating creative movement. It's everything that I've basically been saying, sort of encapsulated in a beautiful stone. Larimar also encourages angelic contact. It heightens your intuition and ability to receive and then understand the messages from the higher realms. This is what I was saying about the roots of the tree. It's not enough just to open up to spirit and be asked to, see. People are always wanting to see. Actually, one of the best gifts that you can be given by spirit is clairsentience, which is to feel. There's great depth with feeling. But whether you feel, whether you see, whether you hear spirit, however spirit is around you, however you receive messages, guidance, it's so important to also be able to understand the messages that you're being given. This is what I meant earlier about a lot of new people that are going to be coming on the scene, that are just going to be coming out with their prophecies and their predictions. But it's like, you've got to be really careful to not interpret too much what you get shown by spirit. You just give what you're shown by spirit. At the start, when I was bringing the energy of Jesus in, I saw a dustpan and brush. Now, a lot of people would then try and that's about this. It could be about that. It's like, I just saw a dustpan and brush. Take it or leave it. Okay? Don't try and overanalyze things. So, larimar. Okay. Okay, so I've said what's on my list there. I'm going to pull some cards now and see what we get for the year ahead. Anything else that I've missed out in my notes? I found over the Christmas period, but I don't think it's just Christmas. I think this is something, it's a new pattern now for me going forward. I found such comfort in the traditions, because in an ever-changing world, and believe you me, it's going to be ever-changing. It's going to get faster and faster, the changes that are coming in, especially when Pluto moves properly into Aquarius in 2024. We're into revolutionary times. In terms of technology, how we view ourselves as human beings. I mean, it's really big. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Old traditions are still important. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about maybe cultural traditions, family traditions, country-specific traditions, things that you've grown up with from your past are still important. So hold on to those as well. I think we're going to be moving again closer to the cycles of nature. The cycles that we go through, the solstices, the moon phases, the planetary phases, all of that. I think we're going to be drawing back to that more. It's interesting actually, as the world advances and becomes more and more technologically high, for want of a better word, it's as though there's a step forward, but there's also a step back. There's a step back to the old ways. We have to have the old and the new are intertwined together. We don't leave the past behind. We take the best of the past, we honour it, we respect it, and then we move forward also into new territory. Hold on a minute, something just coming through here. There's going to be, and there already are, a number of old souls that are going to be steering the ship going forward. and we will be thankful for their presence. Some of us are these old souls as well. So again, if you're resonating as an old soul, I did actually write something down about old souls. Okay, I've written down here a message to old souls from Archangel Metatron, to give thanks to your families, to give thanks to the world, to know that it's okay to know that you're in the world but not of the world. It's okay to have an inner knowing of how things are going to play out because you've already played the game many times. It's okay to be tired as well. It's okay to be able to see past some of what's happening. What I'm trying to get at here is to not get too invested in stuff that you know is going to be playing out. Your job is to be the steady rudder, the steady mast. You just know a lot of what is going to occur, and your job is to be witness and to help ground the others. You've been through it before on other planets in other ages. For others, it's the first time rodeo. To many of us, it's not. Okay. Right, let's pull a few cards. I've got 2 decks to use. I think I'm going to change camera battery because it looks like it's about to die out. So let's do that before we do anything. Might go and get myself a coffee and then we're going to pull some cards for the second half of this video. Hold on. Okay, I've got my coffee. I'm in no rush. So I'm going to cover off a few different subjects. I've written down weather, war, China, pandemic, deaths, Idaho. Whether we'll cover all of that, I have no idea. I'm being told firstly to pick up the Earth Magic deck by Stephen Farmer. So let's see what message wants to come out of this particular deck. It may very well be linked into weather, it may not. Let's just see. Let's see what messages want to come through for the year ahead. Calling in Archangel Sandalphon at this point. We have creation. Exactly what I was saying at the start of this video. Dreamtime creation. This is a year for the inventors, the creators, the free-spirited, rebels, revolutionaries, people that can see further, something different. Those of us that have got something different to offer the world, go for it. Create is the first message coming through. What else? Messages for 2023. Archangel Sandalphon. Archangel Sandalphon. River movement. What have I been saying? I think this is just going to consolidate what I've been saying. Movement, flow. There are going to be many bends. Many bends. There are going to be many times where you can't see what is around the corner because you're not meant to. You're meant to have the courage and the inquisitiveness and the sense of adventure that wants to row the boat, i.e. yourself, around that corner to discover the new. This is not going to be a year which is just going in one direction and one direction only. It's going to have many twists, many turns, but the light is overarching all of it. You will be guided, but you need a creative mindset. You need a creative approach to the year ahead. As I said at the start, what has served you up to now isn't necessarily going to serve you going into this new year. Take note of your dreams as well. They are guiding you also. They are stimulating parts of your imagination that needs to be stimulated. many guides, many ancestors stepping forward, trying to get closer to guide you also. Okay, what else? Archangel Sandalphon 2023. Let's have the energy of, I'm going to say weather, because then we don't get into the whole argument about, you know what. Let's just say weather. Okay, we can all agree that there is weather, can't we? Okay. There's a lot of weather. Let's have a look at weather through 2023. As I was thinking that, the magpie in the tree has just caught my attention and flown off. The energy of duality. We have vulnerability and we have grounding. Weather patterns are going to be making us feel vulnerable, potentially threatened. So what we have to do is ground. But we ground wherever we are and wherever we are led to be. This card of vulnerability is also about seeing the brightness, being happy, basically, being joyful, being optimistic, the colour yellow, being optimistic. But it's a time of vulnerability for our world linked into weather patterns, not necessarily understanding or knowing what is going on with the weather, but trusting that we will be held. And again, the tree, the roots, we can't grow unless we are properly grounded. The ancestors also around us, like I just said, the wise indigenous ones, the elders, returning to sacred medicine, and by that I'm talking sacred ritual really. We have stuff to learn basically from our ancestors, from the indigenous ones. I'm particularly being drawn to Australia. Yes, we have got the energy of Ayers Rock here, I think, or maybe it's Sedona. It doesn't matter what it's meant to represent because it's both parts of the world. It's both, it's what I'm hearing. It's Sedona, it's that type of energy. It's the Wild West, I'm hearing. It's the energy of Australia as well. It's East meets West. It's ancestors joining hands and indigenous ones joining hands from both sides of the globe, linking up more than they have done. I'm seeing in the past pockets of indigenous elders in, for example, America or Australia or New Zealand or wherever they are around the world, being more isolated, but linking hands together. So East meets West is what I'm hearing. And I'm also being shown the ancestors in the lands such as Russia, Siberia, Norway, Scandinavia, that part of the world. Also, okay. Now I'm being shown Africa. I mean, probably all countries around the world. I'm being shown Greece. It's to do with traditions. It's what I was saying earlier. It's about traditions. It's about rituals. It's about sacred observance. It's about first-hand information passed down through generations. Somebody said to me, I don't know, last year, or sorry, this year I'm still in at the moment, about when I was talking about ley lines, and it was sort of like, well, where can I read a book on ley lines? And my answer was, and I genuinely mean this, it's like, go to somebody in your community, wherever you are around the world. They don't have to be an elder. They're an old spirit. They're an old soul, somebody who lives on the land. That's where you get your knowledge from. Because again, you know, not dissing anybody's work out there, but it's like we have to go back to the wise ones, the elders. And sometimes they're not necessarily on bloody Google, you know. So look at this. It's like passing information to each other. Okay. And breath, yeah. This was something which I was feeling as well before I started this recording, that 2023 is a year where we're going to have to relearn how to breathe. The world has been shallow breathing. The world has been in panic. The world has had a pandemic which has affected the lungs. we're going to have to relearn how to breathe. We can't have freedom unless we truly know how to breathe. So breathing techniques, mastering your own breath. One thing that I've been experiencing over the last year, and again, I might do a video on this at some point, but I have a family history of panic attacks, anxiety, stress. It's within my birth family. We all suffer from it to a degree. I've had it all my life. And because it's been a very busy year, I've got a lot of responsibilities, a lot of duties like many of you have. I've just found recently the odd little bit of panic attack coming back in occasionally, not full blown. I'm able to nip it in the bud when it starts, but it's very unpleasant. It's very frightening when it starts to happen. But the thing that I've noticed about it is it's when I'm forced to be still. So like I'm in stationary traffic or I'm standing at the till paying for something. It's like you can't escape because you've got to be there. But it's all about, so it's about being still. It's about learning to be still like the trees are. The trees are still. These beautiful monuments in our world and sacred sites are still. You know, a tree. I was in the forest the other day and I was just hugging this tree and just the sense of stillness that was coming from it. We have to learn how to be still. But again, going back to panic, it's to do with the breath. It's like we're shallow breathing. We're not breathing deep enough. So we have to master our breath. We have to master our breath. I'm being told from a collective perspective that it's as though the new earth comes in on a new breath. Okay? The new earth comes in on a new breath. The way we have been breathing up to now has been adequate for what we were doing, but going forward with our more multidimensional selves, there are new ways of speaking, there are new ways of being, there are new ways of breathing, there are new ways of walk, all of it, you know, moving. Everything changes. So, and again, I'm not being shown that you've got to go to a class and learn this. This is within you. You already know. It's just about stopping and being still and listening to your body, not being frightened of your body, not being frightened of everything that can possibly happen to your body. The pandemic over the last 2 years has made many people so frightened of everything, you know? So we need to relearn mastery in that sense, that our body is the most amazing thing that can heal itself, that can regulate itself, that can steady you, and the constant thing is breath. Okay, so, you know, the importance of ritual for you next year and for me is very important. Whatever it is, for me, I'm going to get back to my sea swimming. I'm going to get back to daily meditation. I'm going to get back to daily walking. I'm going to get back to daily properly making a proper meal. You know, these are basics. They're priorities. We can't fly by the whatever the thing of our pants is, whatever that expression is, anymore. You know, it won't do anymore. It won't do. The tree, i.e. you, has got to be based on very solid foundations. You might be the other way around. You might have got all of that nailed, you know. Oh, well, I would already do cook a meal every day, and I already do have my walk, and I already do my yoga and my breath. Good for you. There'll be other aspects of your tree that needing attention. Only you know what that is. So it's the spiritual, mental, and physical coming back into balance. Okay, I'm going to pull a card from this deck, which is the Oracle, Wild Harmonic Oracle by Gabriel Merrihew. Let's have a glug of coffee first, though. I'm not throwing my coffee out with the bath water. In 2022, 2023. I think I've done very well up to this point, actually saying the right year. Usually it takes me about 3 months or so to remember I'm in the new year. My next video, I bet you, right at the start, I'm going to say the wrong date. Okay, right, what are we asking for? Let's ask a question. I'll ask about war. You see, when I scan 2023, there's a worry about escalating war. So let's have a look. What is that? Wow. Wow. Okay, let me just tune into this a minute. So I was talking about, I have a concern about escalating war. This is the card that comes up. You might not be able to read what it says underneath there. It says us versus them. All war is built on that premise. Us versus them. That you are different from me. That you look different from me. That you're a different colour from me. That you believe something different from me. You're a different religion from me. You live in a different part of the world from me. So therefore, it doesn't matter if I attack you because you're not really me. You're not really human. Bullshit. As a species, we have to get past us and them. And it starts with ourselves. That we start to see everybody as an aspect of us. It's called the shadow of celestial. I'll just see if I can find here we go, shadow celestial. It says, as the shadow consumes the celestial realms, borders and wars ensues. And it asks you to inquire this: what lines have I drawn within and without that are contributing to the divisiveness in my life and in myself? It says weaponized boundaries, vicious relations, and the misunderstandings of difference. A card indicating that lines have been drawn and an ultimatum to choose which side one is on has been made. This is always the result of confusion and disassociation. It's a call to arms to defend someone's sense of certainty that has been built upon divisiveness. When I find divisions in myself, they arise as righteous and noble. They speak of the wrongs that others are doing and how that makes them entirely unlike me. This passion is easy to fall into and has a way of blinding me to what I know to be the common ground upon which we could build something rather than destroy. That first line, as the shadow consumes the celestial realms, borders and wars ensue. Right, so you're a light worker, I'm a light worker. So I read that and I don't think that has to become self-fulfilling prophecy. That the shadow is consuming the celestial realms. I mean, my business is called Angelic Celestial Galas, okay? It's in everything that I do. I'm all about expanding the celestial realm, which actually is within you. It's about you getting in tune with your celestial origins, your angelic origins, and being that. Being that. Not just being a theory and something that's quite interesting to tap into with a deck of cards, being it. Responding, and I know this is hard, guys, and I fall down as well, like the best of you. But we then get back up and we try again to respond with the energy of love. To respond with the energy of angelic frequency flowing through us, not something darker, not the shadow energy. So if we have the celestial energy being attacked and being thwarted because of the us versus them mentality, which is so easy to trigger in people. It's so easy to bring in that jingoistic attitude, which is like, well, my country's the best on earth, and of course I'm going to, defend it and all the rest of it. Half the time you're being played because the enemy over there isn't really the enemy over there. They are you, It's that song by Sting, isn't it? Russians. The Russians love their children too. Of course they love their children too, So let's have one more card from this deck with regards to war. Us versus them. We have to stop the division, guys. Let me just pull again. Hold on. Wasn't focused. Let me just pull again. The energy of war. Is there anything else to say from this deck, please? Interesting cards. We have the fire of shadow snuffed out. And we have a leap of faith, celestial spirit. Leap of faith is quite easy to understand. I just want to look up what it says about fire of shadow. There's a flame over there that is starting to, I'm going to have to blow out. It's going wild, which is obviously linked into this card. Hold on a minute, guys. Fire of shadow. Do I need to? Here we go. Let me pause the camera. Hold on. Okay, really interesting. This candle that's going bonkers over here. Can you see how high that flame is? Let me read to you what it says about fire of shadow, this card, which says snuffed out. It says remember this is in relation to war, and then we've got the card which is leap of faith after this one. It says being beaten, defeated, uninspired and out of juice. A card that indicates our flame has seemingly gone out. Of course it has not, but we have not been tending it so it can fuel us and light our way forward. There are so many voices in the world coming at me each day, from the outside and inside. Very few of them are encouraging me to become who I truly am. When I take on these perspectives as my own, I quickly quell my zest for the path of unfolding and attempt to withdraw myself from any source that might serve to then inspire me. This is about our flame, our inner flame, and I'm wanting to say our spiritual flame. It's as though it's the energy of war and conflict tries to distinguish it. It tries to snuff out our light. It's the energy of despair. What's the point? We're just going to have another world war. It's self-fulfilling. It becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. The number of people that are predicting it. It's bound to happen. It's going to happen. It's like, where has hope gone? Where has the energy of hope and faith gone? Because what follows it is a leap of faith. Somehow, from this place in which the world is now, which at one level is quite depressing and there's so many difficulties, we have the energy of the Moses energy, which is somehow the waves part and we get to the promised land. East meets west, unity, putting down the energy of us versus them. Yeah? So, oh gosh, that flame's hot. The flame is hot. Just put that down there. Really hot. Please don't explode. Although, please don't explode. But, the flame generally around our world of hope needs to ignite. Bigger. We decide whether war happens, is really the message here. If we allow our light to go out and the energy of hope to go out and faith to go out and our spirit to go out, yes, it can happen. But we're not going to allow that. Okay. Right, just trying to think what else to do on this video. Don't want to make it too long. And some of these subjects that I said I was going to cover are quite big. We've touched on weather. We've touched on war. I'll pull a couple of cards linked into China, just generally, because I feel as though China is going to be going through a renaissance. I feel as though the protests that they had recently out there were actually victorious because the zero COVID policy was lifted, unheard of. The authorities had to listen to the people. Now, you might say they did it for economic reasons. That might be true as well, but it coincided with the people's protests. There is a chink in the armour there of the Chinese old guard, and I've always seen China rising, the people rising, I'm talking about, okay? New Earth can't be built on with other countries stuck in an old paradigm. It has to be the whole world. I'm just wondering what deck to use for China, because I'm not feeling that's the right deck. Let's go for this one, Psychic Tarot. Just do a couple of cards for China, see what's going on there. Okay. China in 2023. Moving on. Rejoice in celebration. Positive cards there. This is the Chinese people I'm reading on, really, okay? Give me clarification before I say anything about moving on. Can I have clarification, please, on moving on? Oh, yeah, I thought so. I was feeling, as unlikely as it sounds, that there's going to be a change of leadership at the top. Now, that guy is so firmly cemented, it seems completely unlikely that he's going to move on. But with the card of moving on, we've got authority. Now, if it's not the fact that he is physically moving on, he's actually moving towards the light there, okay? Is that actually, literally, he's moving to the light in terms of Rainbow Bridge light? I don't know. Maybe something happens to his health. It's a potentiality. Or is he awakening to the light and moving away more from this totally authoritarian, my way is the highway, you know, complete control, to something a little bit looser, because we have the energy of rejoicing and celebration. Seems unlikely, I know, but you know, this, I'm pulling these cards at the start of the new year. We have the energy of leaves falling there. We've got autumnal leaves and spring leaves. So it doesn't feel as though I'm talking about winter months or summer months. It feels as though it's spring and autumn. And obviously that's a different, you know, it's not my spring and autumn here. It's going to be different because it's the other side of the world. So I don't know. Let's just see. Anything else? China. China. What does the world need to know with regards to China in 2023? What does the world need to know about China in 2023? What are we allowed to know? Conflict and despair and patience and hope. There's change happening. There's change definitely happening in China. At the moment, conflict and despair. But patience, hope, there's light on the horizon. I mean, my God, if they can free themselves, that would just produce the most extraordinary burst of light across our planet. It really would. But patience is required. This is a waiting game. It's a waiting game. Okay, I'm not going to go any deeper into that now, because it's quite nice to end it on a high note, as it were. The only other thing that I've written down here, which I was going to talk about today, is we know that there's a number of people passing over at this time in our world. Seems like there's not, I mean, deaths happen every day. It's the cycle of life. Births happen every day. Deaths happen every day. But there do seem to be more high-profile people passing at this time. What I would like to say about that is, however it is arising, please remember it is a soul decision. I know that I did a tribute to Vivienne Westwood when she died. Was it yesterday or the day before? And people were linking it to wrongly. I don't like this trait of like, oh, well, she must have had a certain thing, that's why she's died. She was 81. Pele was 82. You know, there is a natural time when people pass, okay, and we should look back with gratitude. in terms of what they've given to our world. So sometimes it's just the person's natural time to go. Even if it feels as though it was sooner rather than it should have been, the soul is always in charge, and we must remember that. And from a multi-dimensional perspective, everybody is where they're meant to be, and life goes on. Life always goes on. So yes, we are going to be seeing more high-profile deaths. As I've recorded this, I believe the former Pope has just died. But you know, it's going to be happening. But again, if we as a species can start to get more comfortable with death, we can actually start to get more comfortable with life. You know, once we actually start to accept our mortality, it brings a humbleness into play. The ego starts to recede a little bit, and we start to change our behaviour. So we can have a better life when we actually have accepted we are all going to die as well. So the stuff to be learnt from the people that are dying right now, but it's also to do with some passing over to be a help to us as we go through the next years to come. People are getting into place. They're where they're meant to be. I mean, I quite like the idea of Vivienne Westwood up there, sort of marshalling us all around. And those of you that knew Vivienne Westwood's spirit, I think she was a Taoist, wasn't she? I'm sure she's got a lot to learn. And yeah, at some point I'll get back into the channeling, but I haven't really been in the zone over the last year, but I'm sure it will come back at some point. I'm talking about the Heart Squad channeling. There's just been so much going on. Okay, what shall we end this on then? Let's end with a couple of cards from the Oceanic. No, what's it called? I don't know what this deck's called. It's a little deck. I'll put the Jessica Lee is the lady that did it. Oh, Sea Melodies. That's right, Sea Melodies. Okay, and then I better get this uploaded, or it will never upload, being New Year's Eve. Any other final messages for this video, please? 2023, show me the energies of 2023 going forward. What are we allowed to see at the start of the year? Strength. Stay afloat and feel steady and calm. And on the bottom of the deck, we have stillness. In calm waters, everything becomes clear. Strength and stillness. Be the steady tree. Be the mast of the boat. Be the rudder of the boat. Okay. We will be given what we need for the year ahead. Going to leave it there now, guys. Lots of love. If you're out tonight for New Year's Eve, have a good one. If you're watching this in the new year, Happy New Year. I'm going out for a meal tonight, early doors. I can't be bothered to, be out late. Actually, I've never particularly liked New Year's Eve, I have to say. Even when I was much younger, I was never a big fan. I'm more about New Year's Day and fresh clean sheet, slate even. Fresh clean sheets are nice as well, actually. Change your bed, change your bed, it's all good. Okay, guys, lots of love. Be back soon. I'm going to be doing an update video, one of my, news videos soon, where I'm going to be looking at Idaho. Andrew Tate maybe, but I don't know if I can do that on YouTube. Might have to do that on Rumble. What are the other things that are going on? I don't know. There's loads going on. I'm going to do an update news video soon, and I'll also do a video for January. Okay, lots of love. Bye. Thank you for your support as always. Happy New Year. Bye.